Happy Monday, everyone. So glad you're here. Welcome to your Monday night yoga practice. I didn't get a chance to respond to Claire or Steve and Diana, so hi and welcome. You've got Shanti's butt, and you've got Musketeer joining us tonight, too. I'm Mikki, for those of you that I've not practiced with before, and this is going to be your Mellow Monday kind of very movement-based practice. The class that I've planned tonight just gets us moving really fluidly in our bodies, a little less kind of holding in stillness. We did that practice on Saturday, and a little bit more movement. So I'm glad to have you here with us. We're going to get started tonight in a comfortable seat. I'm going to take us back. This is week 7 of us streaming from home. I'm going to take us back to the very first class we streamed from my family room. And we're going to start as we did that day. So we're going to take a hand to our heart. I'm going to go right hand to start. And I'm going to pet Musketeer for a moment with my left hand. And then ultimately, I want you to bring your left hand, your free hand, down to the ground beside you. So you've got one hand on heart, one hand touching the ground. And if it happens to touch your fur child from time to time, that's fine. And then go ahead and let your eyes close. And let's all collectively take a big full breath in. Open the mouth, let it go. Let's do that again. Big inhale, fill up. And open the mouth, let it go. And then from here, allow the breath to settle into a rhythm that helps you connect in this moment. Helps you connect to your breath. That's obvious. But helps you to connect into this moment with yourself. To connect within the space that's beneath your hand, that's on the heart. And connect to the space that you're in, the earth and the ground that you're on, beneath that hand that's touching the floor. And as you connect, noticing for yourself how you're doing tonight. And what it is that you need from your practice and from this time on your mat. We will all move through the same series of poses and the same options for those poses, but the practice that we all have individually will be very unique based on the intention that you fill those shapes with, what you go seeking, what you go looking for. Kind of like a pint glass perhaps being filled with an IPA versus a pale ale or a stout. We all can fill these shapes with our own unique experience. How are you doing and what do you need? We're going to start to tip your head to the side. So if your left arm is reaching out to the side, I want you to drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. We're going to continue to breathe and center and check in here, but we're also going to release the neck a little bit. So right ear to right shoulder if your left arm is touching the floor. And then I want you just to start to hover those fingers off the ground and like you're really trying to reach for something that's sort of baseboard level over to the left. Reach those fingers very, very actively. And you might lift and lower that left hand a bit, or you might just let it be still. And then let that hand float down. Let your head lift back up on top of the spine. And let's just switch and do that on the other side. So bring your left hand to your heart, right hand to the ground, or vice versa if you were doing the other one. Maybe this hand also pet your fur child. And then let's take ear to opposite shoulder. So if you've got right hand touching the floor, left ear falls towards your shoulder. Just a couple breaths here. When you're ready, float the fingers and take that really active reach over toward the right side of your room. The arm might be still, or you might lift and lower the hand a bit. And then let the hand lower and let the head lift back up on top of your spine. And let's bring both hands to your heart. As those palms come together, let's lift the heart up toward your thumbs, plural. Feel the heart lift, feel the collarbones broaden. We're going to start to tip back onto your sit bones, uncrossing your legs, and let's bring the toes to the floor. So a little bit of boat pose here to cross into your second crossing of your legs. Your toes can stay on the ground if you'd like, or you can start to hover the legs up off the floor, the feet off the ground. Imagine you're hugging something between those knees. Keep the heart lifting toward the thumbs. And then see if you can remember which leg was in front. We're just going to recross with your other leg in front. If you can't remember, don't worry about it. And let's take a big reach out to the sides, up to the sky as you inhale. At the top there, we're going to exhale, bend your elbows out to the side into a goalpost shape. Let your heart lift, let your gaze turn upward. Inhale, reach toward the ceiling, lengthen the spine, eyes go forward. And then exhale, open those elbows, lift the heart, look up. Inhale, reach. Exhale, open. One more time. Inhale, reach. And because I know you want to, as you open this time, think of a couple of your favorite yogi friends and give them air high fives. If you have someone next to you, maybe you actually high five them. And then inhale, big reach back up toward the ceiling. Let the palms join together overhead and hands come down back into your heart. Tip back onto your sit bones, uncross those legs, bring your toes to the floor. Hug something between the knees and the legs, an imaginary something. Maybe the toes stay down, maybe you lift those legs. And then one more option this round to maybe take your legs out to straight. How about 3 more breaths here? Wherever you're at, try to keep the breath really steady. And remember, this is not about what options are available and what could be poured into your cup. It's what do you need and what do you want tonight? One more full breath here. And then we're going to recross those legs. This time, if it works for you, rolling over the shins and the ankles to come on to hands and knees. If you need to swing the legs around instead, go for that. Once you've found your table pose, let's move through some cat-cow. Inhale, belly down, head and heart up. And then exhale, round your spine. Cat pose, let the head fall forward. Couple rounds there. Inhale, cow pose, your udder drops toward the ground. Exhale, rounding your spine like a cat. Two more at your pace. Feeling yourself rooting down into the floor. And beginning to move out and away any kind of stuckness from the day. I've been hearing from a lot of you that are working from dining room tables and chairs that really aren't meant to be sat in for 8 hours a day. So part of this practice right now can just be releasing that. As you find your cow this next time, let's tuck your toes under, take your hips up and back, downward facing dog. And take a breath or two as we settle in here to let the tail wag, to pedal the feet, to again just keep getting into your body and into yourself. And we're still in that check-in part of our practice where you're kind of feeling things out. How are you doing today? What do you need? When you're ready to start to move here a bit, let's inhale, rise up onto the tippy toes, let the heels lift. And then exhale, heels drop toward the floor. 2 more times. Inhale, rise up. And heels drop. One more time. And then I'm going to give you the option to stay with this if this is good for you. We'll take 3 more breaths here. The next option is to inhale, plank, top of a push-up. And exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. You've got 2 more breaths, either rolling forward to plank and pulling back to down dog, or lifting and lowering the heels. As you pull into down dog this next time, let those heels drop. And let's start to walk your feet forward toward your hands. Might also be a little bit of hands to feet. Just make it work for you, whatever's comfortable here. And we'll let the knees bend softly once you're in your forward fold. Slide your fingers up your shins, maybe about as high as the knee, halfway lift. Pausing here for a moment. Try not to have the weight back in the heels or forward in the toes, just a really even connection to your feet. Shoulders pulling away from the ground, and see if you can create some ease and length to your neck. And then nice and dramatically, just let it go. Right foot's going to stay where it's at. Left leg is stepping back. And we're going to let your back knee come on down to the floor. As that knee comes down, let's keep your left hand grounded, and we'll sweep your right arm up toward the sky. Listening to your shoulders, and if this reach of the arm is not pleasant in the shoulder, your hand could be on your hip. Your hand could be on the shoulder. You could also have the hand on the head. Feel free to get creative to make things work for your body. And when you're ready, we're going to bring your right hand to the top of your right thigh. Start to turn the torso toward the ground. Push into your right hand, reach your left hand forward and all the way up as you really press down into that right hand. Option to stay here, just feeling that length from the left knee all the way up through the fingertips. Or option to add a side bend in, taking your left hand up and over toward the right. One more full breath wherever you're at. Push into that right hand a little bit more. Bring your left hand back up. Let your right hand join. Maybe look up toward the ceiling. Maybe press your palms together. And then let your hands come down around your front foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift the knee. Look forward, and we'll step your left foot to meet your right. Inhale, halfway lift. Fingers slide up the shins. Exhale, fold. Left foot stays, right leg steps back. Back knee to the floor. Right hand stays on the floor, left hand to the sky. In our spine in a few different directions here. So we start with a rotation. Remember, take care of that left shoulder in any way that it needs. When you're ready, left hand will come to your left thigh. Push down as you start to turn your belly toward the floor. Right hand goes forward and all the way up toward the sky. Feel that length from right knee through right fingers. Stay here or take that right hand up and over toward the left into your side bend. Keep pressing down into the left hand. We'll bring your right hand to the sky. Left hand joins. You might look up toward the ceiling. You might press your palms together. All options, just opportunities for you to explore and express this practice in alignment with your intentions tonight. Hands come down when you're ready. Tuck your back toes, lift the knee, and we'll step your right foot to meet the left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root into your feet, and let's rise up all the way to standing. Reaching toward the ceiling as your feet root down. And let's reach up a little bit more through that right hand. A little bit more through that left hand. Let's do that one more time on each side. So it's just maybe an inch or two higher with each hand. Right hand reaches up, sort of like you're rolling yourself out like a mound of dough from the middle of your belly out can you lengthen? And then same thing left side. Can you get just a half inch, quarter inch longer? Equally reach through both hands. Let those palms join together and exhale hands into your heart. We'll start to flow and move a little bit more. Inhale, hands go up. Exhale, let's fold. Fingers slide up the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, we'll fold. Right foot stays, left foot steps back. We're going to keep your back knee off the ground and inhale, rise into your crescent lunge. As you get to the top, go ahead and let the front leg straighten a bit. And then we're going to exhale, bend the front knee, bend your elbows out into a goalpost shape. Inhale, straighten the arms, straighten the leg. As you exhale, let's bend the front knee. This time, hands are going to go down and back as you tip forward. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, come back up, reach your hands to the sky. Let's do that again. Exhale, bend the front knee, bend the elbows. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale, bend the front knee, tip the body forward, reach the hands back. Inhale, come on up. One more time through that. Goalpost arms as you bend the knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend the knee and fold. Inhale, come on up. At the top there, we're going to keep the front knee bent. Drop your right hand down toward the floor beside you. Left arm's going to reach up and over into your side bend. Push back through that left heel. And then both hands to the sky. Maybe look up, maybe the palms press. And hands come down around your front foot. Doesn't need to be graceful. Any way that works for you. Downward facing dog. You're invited to stay here. Could also do the lifts and the lowers of the heels that we did earlier. Or inhale, come forward to plank. Let's take our knees to the ground for this first round. Heart lengthens forward. Elbows point back as you lower to the belly. At the bottom, untuck your toes. Inhale, pull back on the hands to lift your heart, baby cobra. And then exhale, bring it down. Inhale, press up, table. And downward facing dog. Full breath in. And full breath out. Left leg lifts. Any way that works, foot between the hands. We'll come on up into your lunge. Once you're up, go ahead and let that front leg straighten. Just give yourself some space. It doesn't have to lock out, but just kind of feel that lift. And then we're going to bend the front knee, bend the elbows out to the sides into that goalpost shape. And then inhale, re-lengthen, re-lift. Exhale, bend the front knee, tip forward, hands go down and back. Inhale, rise up, straightening that front leg any amount. We'll alternate there with the breath. Exhale, goalpost arms, knee bends. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lean, fold, and release. Inhale, come on up. Goalpost arms, exhale. Reach up, lengthen. And we'll tip over that bent front leg, hands go back. Bring it back up. We'll settle into a bent front knee. Left hand goes straight down beside you toward the floor. Right arm goes up and over into your side bend. Keep pressing back, back, back through that right heel. And then float that left arm up to the sky. Maybe you look up. Maybe you press your palms and hands come down around your front foot. Right foot steps to meet the left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. You knew it was coming. Chair pose. Chair pose number 1. Any height will do. Anywhere between a standing desk and a squatty potty, you choose. We're going to keep the knees bent and take that same sort of folding action we did in the lunge. So it can be as dramatic about it as you want. We'll exhale, fold over the legs, let the head fall. Inhale, sweep right back up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. We're going to fold one more time. And as we sweep up this time, let yourself come all the way up to standing. Bend your elbows into that goalpost shape. Exhale. Bring to mind some yogis you want to air high five. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Drop the gaze or close the eyes, a couple breaths. Just feel what you've started to create through the movement, through the breath, through the intention that you've put into your practice. When you're ready, we'll inhale, hands to the sky, blink the eyes open, and exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. And then we'll fold. This time your right leg will step back first. Very similar, but we're not going to repeat things. We'll come on up into your lunge. Let that front leg straighten. As you exhale, we'll bend the front knee, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach up. And this exhale will fold over that front leg. Front knee bends, hands go back. Inhale, bring it up. And we'll take the side bend. Left hand reaching toward the ground beside you. Right arm up and over toward the left. Inhale, both hands to the sky. Maybe look up. Maybe press the palms. And hands come down. Downward facing dog. Invitation to stay, or if you want to keep moving, inhale, plank. Knees up or down will lower. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, the back bend that suits your back and your mood tonight. And then make your way back, downward facing dog. Couple breaths. Check in, connect. When you're ready, right leg lifts. Foot between the hands. Come on up, crescent. Let the front leg straighten a little bit. Give yourself some space. As you exhale, bend the front knee, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach up. This exhale will fold over that bent front leg. Maybe fall. Inhale, come back up. And then we'll side bend. Right hand reaches toward the ground. Left arm reaches up and over. Push back through that left heel. Inhale, both hands to the sky. Perhaps those palms press. And hands come down. Let's step forward, feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Put a little smile on your face. Curl those corners of your mouth towards your cheeks. Bend your knees. Come on up, chair. Steady, steady. Shift into your right foot. As you exhale, left leg's going to step back. Let's move your hands and reach them back, sort of like a superhero cape. Keep that front knee nice and bent. And let's step right back forward into your chair. Hands come to heart or reach skyward. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhale, we step back, reach back. Inhale, step forward, chair. Step back, exhale. Inhale, chair. And then we're going to reach back, step back into that lunge, and hang out for a little bit. Let's go ahead and fist your hands together. And then press those fists up and back behind you any amount. You might imagine that you have like a resistance band between your hands. And then let's start to bring your left heel to the ground. You might step the foot in a little bit, angle the toes out, and we'll rise on up into warrior one. So your hips and your shoulders are facing the front of your mat. As you get upright and you feel your feet, let's open the arms into that goalpost shape again. Let the neck and the shoulders soften just a bit. Lengthen out through your elbow tips. You're welcome to stay here if you'd like, or as you exhale, let's lean and press your forearms together. Kind of feel like you're hollowing out the midsection. Inhale, open. Exhale, press. Inhale, open. And one more time, we'll press. Inhale, let's open and come back up. And then let's keep your arms where they're at, but we're going to tip forward. So without the press of the forearms this time, just let your body find the diagonal line from the back heel through the crown of the head. Feel a little bit of that core hollowing effort, like when you were pressing the forearms together. Stay here, 3 breaths, or those of you that would like to come up to warrior 3, come on up onto your right foot, flying that left leg any amount off the ground. It could be just a couple inches if you'd like. Steady, steady. And then we'll step back into your lunge if your left foot's flying. Big reach up with both hands to the sky. And let's just bring our hands back onto the back of the head, elbows bent. Little hammock for the head, let the head fall back. Use the hands to bring the head right back up on top of your spine. And let's lower your hands down around your front foot. Let's step to plank. Any way that works for you, we're coming down to the belly. So lower the knees if it's smart. Make it work for you. And we're going to set up with your elbows bent, hands by the rib cage for cobra. Let your forehead come to the mat. And let's lift your shoulders away from the floor. Feel the muscles between your shoulder blades, gently pulling the shoulder blades toward one another. And then pull back on the hands just a tiny bit. And let's start to lift your head up off the floor. Keep those shoulders moving away from the ground. Some of you stay here. Some of you float the feet. Wherever you're at, you have 3 more breaths. If you would like to lift the hands, fist the hands and reach them back like a superhero cape, you can add that in. Last full breath here. Imagine you have that strap between your hands if you have them reaching back. And then slowly lower. Hands back by your ribs, forehead to the ground, feet to the floor. Little shimmy shimmy of your hips. And let's press up into table. And back into downward facing dog. With your next inhale, we're going to prepare to move to the top of the mat. So bend the knees, lift the heels, look forward. And you can walk, step, or hop with your exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Close the eyes, drop the gaze. Let yourself settle for a couple breaths. Feel your feet. And can you press down through the balls of the feet and lift your toes? Feel what that does in terms of creating a little bit of buoyancy, of lift in the middle foot. And then spread all of your toes out a little wider. Try to keep that lift in the midfoot and put your toes back down. Start to bend your knees, sit back, chair pose, hands to the sky or hands at heart. Couple breaths here. I'm gonna let my cat have his dinner. Go for it, buddy. Sorry to leave you in chair pose. You're welcome. All right, weight into your left foot. Exhale, right foot steps back, hands reach back. Keep that left knee bent, the hip low. Inhale, step forward into chair, hands go skyward. You've got 2 more there. Exhale, step back, reach back. Inhale, step forward, reach up. Last full round here, step back, step forward. And then we're going to step back into that lunge, keep the hands reaching back, pull the hands into fists. Imagine you have some sort of band or strap between the hands, and let's reach those hands further away from your back, away from the ground. Let the heart move forward. Feel some space and breath across the collarbones. And then let's pivot onto the heel of that right foot. Let the toes angle out. And release the hands up to the sky. Let your shoulders come up over the hips. Warrior 1. Once you're settled there, we'll bend the elbows out to that goalpost shape. Couple breaths here. Let things soften. Base of the neck, the jaw. Muscles in the chest that are getting really tight from hunching over our electronic devices. Sitting for the couch or on the couch way too long. You're welcome to stay here. Exhale, lean forward, press the forearms together. Inhale, come back up, open the arms. How about 2 more? So these repetitive movements allow us to, it's kind of like a compromise, a negotiation with our body. Hopefully each round we're able to feel a little more space, a little more familiarity with the shape. Let's keep the arms in that goalpost shape, tip the torso forward, feel the line. But what tends to happen as we do this kind of lean forward is we get a little sassy and back bendy. So I want you to feel kind of that hollowing of the front body that pressing of forearms together helped us to find. Stay here, 3 breaths, or come on up, warrior 3. Remember, it does not matter how high that back foot gets off the ground. Your arms can stay in goalpost, or you can fist the hands. Take the arms back. Imagine you have that strap or resistance band between your hands. Wherever you're at, 1 more full breath all the way into your heart. And we'll step it back. Hands to the ceiling. And hands to the floor. We're going to make our way down onto the belly again. So let's take it back to plank. Make this transition work for you. Some of you knees stay lifted and you lower through chaturanga. And we'll come onto the belly with, again, your hands by those low ribs, elbows hugged in and back, forehead on the ground. So let the forehead rest on the floor. Try not to push the head into the ground. Just let it rest. And using the strength of your upper back, try to move the shoulder heads away from the floor. Like you have a thigh master between your elbows, an elbow master. Hug the elbows toward each other. And then like a turtle coming out of its shell, can your neck actually feel elongated? And then from that elongation, from that length, Pull back on the hands, start to lift your head up off the floor. Feel a little hug of belly button towards spine so your low back is protected. Stay here or begin to float your feet. And just like the lift of the neck came from elongation first, can you reach back through your feet so much that they just happen to come up off the ground? One more full breath here. Some of you, maybe you press your big toes together and then let everything come down to the ground. Press into hands and knees, come up table. And let's actually take it back into child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together, forehead on the mat. Or if the forehead doesn't quite make it to the ground, stack your hands and let your forehead rest on the back of your hands. Here in your own little bubble, check in once again. Honoring that this practice is not about doing all the things. It's actually like the anti-doing. So letting go of any voices of judgment or criticism, striving, feeling like you should be able to do all the things. And just allow yourself to breathe peacefully, to breathe steadily, and to honor yourself in each and every breath, and to honor yourself in how you choose to move tonight. One more full breath here. Let's crawl ourselves back up into table and downward facing dog. From that downward facing dog, if it makes sense in your body, we're going to take your right leg, lift it up and back. And with your exhale, does not need to be graceful, just find a way. Foot comes forward between your hands. We're going to bring your back heel to the ground, toes angle out, and come on up one more time for warrior one. As you come up, we're going to bring hands to elbows, sort of like our cobra arms, but hands are going to be on hips. And we're going to pull those elbows back, like that little elbow master again. And then let's go ahead and start to straighten the front leg. So again, it doesn't need to be completely locked out, just an elongated leg. Keep those elbows hugging back, and let's start to tip the torso forward, maybe about 45 degrees at the most. So if you could see yourself, you'd want the torso to be a continuum of your back leg. Can you step into your back foot a little bit more? Almost feeling like that right foot doesn't have any purpose. All right, option one, stay here. If this is too much already, you're going to bend the front knee and just keep this work going. Some of you are going to start to rotate around the waist. It's not going to be a huge rotation, but just enough that your left elbow starts to point toward the ground a bit, the right elbow turns up. But what I want you to really stay connected to is not how deeply can you rotate, but how strongly rooted can you stay in that back foot. Final option, if you want a little bit more elongation, left arm's just going to start to reach right alongside your left ear for the front of the room. Can that left arm be a continuum of the back leg? Feel the left heel root down, feel those left fingertips move away from the left heel, like you're rolling yourself out from the mid body. And then slowly just go ahead and bend the front knee, lose the rotation, shoulders over hips, hands to your heart. Start to feel your connection to that front foot. And when you're ready, we're going to step into that front foot and bring your left knee up toward the chest. Find your balance here. Find your breath. Option to stay here. You could hug the leg if this is the best balance option for you tonight. We are going to play with taking this toward dancer pose if you're game for that. So we'll start to bring your left foot toward the bottom. Maybe you grab the foot. This is also why I believe yoga pants are stretchy. And maybe bring your free hand to your heart. If balance allows tonight, if your breath allows, if your intention allows, start to press the foot into the hand. Maybe the right hand reaches forward. Couple breaths of dancer pose. And that front hand could be air high-fiving all of your yogi friends. Separate, but still together. Slow and steady, let's release that left foot. Let it come all the way down next to your right. 2 feet on the ground, 2 hands to the sky. Get tall, get long. Exhale, let's fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then we'll fold, and we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog. You might roll through vinyasa, plank, chaturanga back bend, or you might just simply walk it back. When we meet up in that down dog, we'll take a couple breaths of steadiness here. And then when you're ready, left leg lifts. Foot between the hands. Ground your back heel. Come on up, warrior one. Once you're upright, we'll bring hands to hips, a little hug of those elbows back once again. And we'll start to straighten the front leg. So this pose that we're heading into is sort of like a combination of halfway points of 4 different poses. It's not even really a yoga pose. It doesn't have a name. So I don't want you to be so caught up and worried about what it should look like or where everything should be perfectly in place. I want you just to create length and space within yourself. Have an experience with yourself that maybe isn't dictated by it should be this way. We're going to start to tip forward if that makes sense in your body, 45 degrees at most in that torso, and kind of like a continuation of your back leg. Keep hugging elbows back. And then if it makes sense, you're going to take that little rotation toward your front leg. The left elbow will go up a little bit, the right elbow will go down. It doesn't need to be a huge rotation. Just feel that ability to lengthen there while you really root into your back foot. That is the important part. Stay here, or take your right hand, just lengthen it alongside the right ear, reach it forward. Keep rooting into that back foot. Feel that slight hollowing out of the midsection. And then slowly bend the front knee. Untwist. Hands to the sky, shoulders over hips. Start to feel your front foot. Bring your hands into your heart, and when you're ready, we'll step onto your front foot. Right knee comes up into your chest. Find your balance. Stay here, maybe holding the leg, or start to let that right foot come into the backside. Grab a foot if you can, grab pants if that's better. Maybe your left hand starts on your heart. Stay here, or begin pushing that foot into the hand. Maybe the left arm goes forward. If you step out, if you stumble, it's not a big deal. Take a breath and come back in. Slow and steady, release the foot. Right foot next to left foot, 2 feet on the ground, 2 hands toward the ceiling. Let's get really tall through those fingertips, and then we're going to bend your elbows to that cactus shape. Let your heart lift. Breathe into the belly, breathe into the chest. Let the back of the neck lengthen. And then get long. Reach those hands back up. And exhale, bend the knees gently, and let's fold over your legs. Let the arms dangle, let the head dangle. Let's wiggle your feet as wide as the short edge of your mat. Allow yourself to hang here with a generous bend in your knees. And let's swing a little bit side to side. Bring yourself to center and stillness. If you're swinging, let the hands find the ground. Bend the knees softly. Your right foot's going to stay, and your left leg will step back. Back knee to the floor. Both hands come inside that right foot. Lizard pose. It's a love-hate for a lot of people. Maybe more on the hate side for some people. So I want you to make peace with this for several breaths to the best of your ability. So I'm going to give you some options. Those of you that lizard is your jam and you're super happy in this pose, just go for it. Those of you who need some assistance, I'm going to give you some options. So one thing that can help to make this more comfortable is turning those right toes out, your front toes out and the front knee out at a little bit of an angle instead of keeping them pointed forward. That sometimes releases the hip a little bit better. Wiggling your back knee a little further over to the left can also give you sometimes a little bit more space. And so can the other, just depending on your body. So you can kind of play with where that back knee is. And then if it feels comfortable, you might come down onto one forearm or both. But if you start that and you're like, nah, no good, then just stay on hands. I also find it on days where I'm feeling really tight in lizard pose, helpful to sort of sway a little bit side to side. Just to keep things broken up and a little less tense and stagnant. We're going to be here for a last maybe 3 to 5 breaths, depending on the pace of your breath. Depending on how you're feeling and what you want, you might bring your right hand to your right inner thigh. Just gently push away into that thigh. Spin your heart open. And then we'll bring that right hand back down if it left the floor. Tuck your back toes under. And we're going to switch to the other side in the way that is the least awkward for you. So that might be a step forward with your left foot so that it goes outside your left hand, then a step back with your right. You might choose your transition through downward facing dog. And let's settle into side 2, which for a lot of us is a completely different beast than your first side. They are individual experiences. So again, maybe you angle the toes and the knee out a bit. Maybe you play with where that back knee is placed. Maybe you play with forearms versus hands. Last couple breaths here. Again, if you took that little press of the left hand into the left thigh, little rotation of the body, maybe you add that in here. And then we'll bring the left hand back down if it's lifted. We're going to come through to seated. So you might step forward to your squat and then lower down if there's a less awkward, better way for you to come down to seated. come on down. And as you come to seated, we're going to open your legs into a V. Don't pressure yourself about them being really wide open. And we're going to keep your right leg straight, bend your left knee, and bring the foot inside the thigh. Let's start to walk your right hand down your right shin, and then open your left arm on the diagonal toward the sky. Let that left hip get really heavy into the ground. Some of you stay here. Some of you start to bend your right elbow and bring that left arm up and over toward the right. Just a couple breaths here. It's not going to be the world's longest hold. Just a release for that outer hip, some of the muscles around the left waist and rib cage. And just like some of the shoulder stuff we did earlier, if it's better to have the hand on the head or the shoulder or the hip, all of those are completely fantastic options. Last full breath here. Let's start to press down into your right hand. Bring yourself back up to center. Feel the length up both sides of your body. And then let's switch. Left leg goes to straight, right leg comes in. Left hand to your shin, right hand on the diagonal. Create lots of space there. Open up across your wingspan. Stay here, or begin to bend that left elbow and take your right arm up and over into the side bend. One more full breath wherever you're at. Push down into your left hand. Bring yourself back upright. Let's lean back and we'll bend both knees now, bringing the soles of the feet together. And let's hold on to shins or ankles or feet and sit up nice and tall. So we're going to be here for several breaths. You're welcome to close the eyes. And I want this to be the version of this pose that feels really nice for you this evening. So for some of us, you're going to stay upright, seated tall. For some of you, you can fold forward over the legs here. And then I'm going to also give the option, because we're headed to the ground next, if your favorite version of this pose is actually on your back, you could just head there early and start to get comfortable. So diamond shape in the legs, upright, folded, on your back, all are great options. And I know it's easy at home to start to look at your phone and start to think about dinner and start to just check out, and do your best to stay with yourself for these final moments of class. Seven weeks in, some things start to feel normal as you do them week after week, right? New routines get established, and there can be this pressure. I don't know if you're feeling it. I feel it some days of, well, I should have all my stuff together and I should be doing just fine because we're 7 weeks in and this is the new normal. But we know that this is not normal. And we know that there's going to be days that we're not doing just fine. So however you're showing up and feeling tonight, whatever that showed up for in terms of an intention in your practice, in terms of movement and breath, allow it to feel okay. Just as it was, just as you were. Doing the best that you can, breath to breath. If you're folded, start to bring yourself upright. If you're still upright on your sit bones, let's start to bring yourself down onto your back. Maybe your cat will make you a pillow. No? Okay. And as you come down onto your back, let's bring your knees into your chest. Stay here or holding on to feet, ankles, or behind the knees. Open it up. Happy baby. Little rock side to side, just a gentle shift, right to left. And then keeping the feet relatively wide, let's bring your feet to the ground with the knees bent. Let your arms open, T or goalpost shape. And we're going to take both of your knees toward the right. Couple breaths here in a twist before we start to settle into our stillness and our relaxation. Maybe assessing and noticing your body in these final twists and identifying if there's anything else that you and your body, you and your mind, you and your intention need for your practice tonight. Bring the knees back up to center. When you're ready, to the left. Back to center. If something came to mind that you need to round out your practice, take some time for it now. And when you're ready for Shavasana, let those legs stretch out to straight. Let the arms settle somewhere where the shoulders can relax. Worrying a little bit less about what the right Shavasana or relaxation shape imposes, and just letting your body settle into a shape where you personally feel at ease. And resting here in the peace that comes with believing, or at least at this point, maybe just telling yourself before you believe it, that today, whatever this day held for you, whatever these weeks so far have held for you, that you have done the best that you can. And that is more than enough. Taking rest in that enoughness. Let's slowly start to deepen the breath. Begin to add movement back into your body as it feels good to do so. And when you feel ready to bring yourself to a side and up to a comfortable seat, gradually make that transition upright. And once you're in that seat, love on your fur children. And then bring your hands to your heart. Sealing into your breath here an intention for all that comes next, based on how you're doing and what you need, not just on your mat, but definitely always off of your mat as well. Carrying this intention with you in each and every inhale and exhale that you take. The light within me honors the light within each of you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to the day that I get to hear your namastes again. Couple quick things before you all head off this evening. We will be Zooming here in a moment if you want to come say hi and cheers with us. I'll put the link in the chat feature here momentarily. Seville is teaching on Wednesday night, one of our first yoga and beer teachers other than me and one of our Portland-based teachers. She'll be teaching at 6 p.m. here on YouTube. Same links, same situation, same channel. Everything's the same. It'll just be Seville from her house instead of me from mine, and I'll be practicing alongside you all. And then Saturday morning, I'll be teaching at 10 a.m. So that's our lineup for the week. These classes immediately become recordings that are available on my YouTube channel. So feel free to practice with those if the live schedule doesn't work for you. Tonight we were supposed to be at Freeland Spirits in Portland. That would have been our in-person class this evening. And so tonight we are giving away a gift card to Freeland for $25. All you need to do to enter to win is to post some picture, whether it's your practice or your practice space or something that you was inspired by class tonight on social media, and tag us in it. And we will do that drawing tomorrow morning. So thank you guys so much. Thank you. Oh, hi, Mom. Mom was here with us tonight. Debbie, I'm glad you love Lizard. Not everyone feels like we do about it. Oh, and here's Brian. He was out practicing in the garage. Oh, you're not a cat. Sorry. Apparently he's being a fur child. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Cynthia. Neil, Howard, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all. Extra fur children this evening. All right, guys, here comes the link for Zoom if you want to come chat. Boom. Thank you, Danny. Enjoy your pesto. I'm a little envious. Lisa, I'll tell Brian you said hi. He already jammed upstairs. Awesome. I did not hear car alarms and drums during Shavasana, but that's cool. Must have been where you're at, not where I'm at. Hi, Susan. All right, guys, enjoy your evening. I'm going to sign off and head over to Zoom. Mwah. Thank you, guys. Oh, donation information is in the video description if you feel so inclined. Love you. Good night.